We're here today after Minnesota State University's 45-10 homecoming win over St. Cloud State with head coach Todd Hoffner, Alex Goettl, and Shane Zylstra. Head coach, comments on the game.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thought the game was very tight early. They actually won the first quarter. They were up 3-0, but we won all the rest of the quarters, and that was part of our heavyweight fight that we wanted to get into today with St. Cloud. So I thought our guys shined. All in all, as a whole, I'm very proud of the team, the coaches, their efforts and everything that they did in making sacrifice to make this victory possible. I'm also proud of Shane and our offense, putting up all those points. The defense had a little bit of say in that, but when you have guys like Alex getting an interception, a forced fumble, a scoop and score fumble for a touchdown, the list goes on and on and on. What a big day for our defensive personnel, especially Alex, and I thought Coach Goettl did a fantastic job, along with Coach Bashauner and the rest of our coaching staff, and hopefully it was something we can build on.
All right, we'll open up to the media for questions.
Pardon me. So Todd, just what have you seen from this defense in the last three halves, starting last week, and what's been the change?
You can't put your finger on it, but it's we're more healthy now than we've been all year long. I think that has a lot to do with it. We're rotating a lot of guys. I think a lot of guys have developed to a point where they're playing better, and we're fresher, and we can play harder. We can play harder throughout the game, and I think Coach Goettl might be getting a little more aggressive in his play calling and getting after it a little bit. But we're doing well with our base, but I think the wrinkles and the differences that we're doing and changing things up and not being vanilla are having a big impact.
How much did you want that second touchdown there when you saw the goal line there?
Yeah, I wish I could go back in time and cut back inside. I thought I could get around him at the time, but he got just enough of me to knock me out of bounds.
What does it mean to a defensive player just to be able to score?
Yeah, it's a great feeling. It's a pretty rare opportunity, and yeah, it was really exciting.
Was there anything that happened within your group there, maybe at halftime of that Winona game? Because the last three halves have been pretty dominant from your unit.
Yeah, not really, but we just kind of looked each other in the eyes and we're like, felt like our backs were against the wall. And we're like, better go now, because if we want to get to where we want to get, we gotta beat a lot better teams than Winona State.
Before that, just starting with Augustin and stuff, the defense was probably being looked at as the weaker half of this team. Maybe just how have you guys changed that here in the last month?
Yeah, I think our offense obviously has a lot of returners from last year and got a lot of talented guys on the offensive side of the ball, but we think we're talented on defense too.
How about the second quarter, third quarter, just in the huddle? That had to be just kind of crazy. Everybody's jumping around sacks, scores.
Yeah, it felt like every play was a big play, and it was a lot of fun to be out there.
Shane, you go against these guys every day in practice. When they were struggling a little bit early in the year, what did you think about that unit and how maybe that's changed in the last two games?
I don't think much has changed during practice. We go against the same guys, and it does get old, but they know our offense. We kind of know their defense, so it's hard to tell, whether they've improved or not. Against us, they do great all the time, and they got great athletes on both sides. So, there isn't much that I don't think it's changed, from my perspective, just at defense, or just at practice, excuse me.
Were you getting a little antsy to get out there because you guys got cheated out of some plays there? But
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome to see the defense score. We'll take that every time.
As a receiver in this offense, you're probably never going to catch 70 balls in a season type thing. But to be able to catch a touchdown every game so far, what does that mean to you?
It's awesome, and we take a lot of pride in blocking for our running backs too. So that's also a huge part of our game. But to get that score, to get a score, it's a great feeling. It always is.
Things got off to kind of a slow start offensively for you guys there. Did something change a little bit in that second quarter for you guys?
I don't think much has changed. We just kind of like Alex said, kind of looked at each other in the eyes and just said, we got to get going. You know, I don't think we've played 4 complete quarters of football throughout the entire team. So, you know, it's good that we're 5-0 and we can say that, but it's just something we got to figure out. And I think when we do, we're going to be dangerous.
Todd, what do you think about just the way this first 5 games have gone and what do you see developing here?
I think there's a lot of positive takeaways. I think defensively, one of the things that came to my mind when these two gentlemen were talking is that we've become more competitive in practice and competing more for balls and challenging offensive players on a more regular basis. And I think when we were injured and nicked up and we didn't have a lot of depth, I think a lot of guys were, you know, a little bit more cautious in practice. But I see a lot more courageous effort in practice out of our defensive players. I think from a performance standpoint, I think you're seeing that as we got more healthy, we've become more courageous, and we're also performing at a much higher level. So it's a really good thing to see because we do have a lot of depth. We recruited a lot of players in this offseason on the defensive side of the ball to add depth to our defensive personnel. So it helps a lot in special teams and defense, which is, you know, 2/3 of the ball game, and it's been nice to rely on our defensive players. And I think offensively, turning the ball over 2 games in a row like we did is something that has to, you know, come to an end real fast because we do have a lot of weapons, we do have a lot of explosivity, but I think taking care of the football, we could have done a lot better in the first half. I think we did much better in the second half, but we can't afford to put the ball on the ground and leave judgment in the hands of the official or our opponent.
Do you think you've seen a game yet where both sides were kind of hitting at full strength?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think we've been, you know, the first half of Concordia St. Paul was lights out on both sides of the ball. I thought that was one of the most impressive halves we had defensively, like you said. I've had 3 halves in a row of outstanding football. A lot to build on, you know. I think we're in a good spot, but we got to keep getting better, and that's the key to, you know, improving our team and advancing our program to the next level. You know, we have aspirations of trying to be better than we were last year, and I think a lot of things are coming, and I'm excited for the day that we play lights out football from the beginning to the end. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Good job, guys.